my deal.
Yeah.
I'm so ready to snap this thing.
Go for it, dog.
Snap that.
You ready?
Yeah, snap it.
All right.
Count us down.
Tommy, podcast. Take one.
Jesus.
You got to say it like they do on the Netflix. It's CL1, PL1, 807, and...
All right, well, we're back
an
with
endearment.
Tommy, Sergeant Jeep. He's been on before, and he's back again. He lives in the world of Jeeps, and if we ever have questions about Jeeps, he's who we call because he's the world-renowned master of all things Jeep.
The nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, normally you'd call that person a nerd, but we like Jeeps. So.
Now he's a guru.
Yeah,
I think.
technically-
I like that word. There's
No.
so many of them those out there that claim that.
Would
I
you
have
be?
customers. I have customers that teach me shit all the time.
What
I
about
know, but would you
Wizard?
consider yourself a subject matter expert?
That comes from my previous aviation. Yes, a SME is what we
Yeah,
would say.
you're a SME for sure.
I would definitely call that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's new in the in your Jeep world?
My JK breaking me to debt. That JK I'm building is
I don't know what
busting
you're
my
talking
balls.
about, building Jeeps and going into
Oh
debt.
my God. It's like every day. Hey, we
the
found
story of
this.
your
It's
life.
only going to cost $2,000 to do. But Father's Day weekend, I should be picking it up from Denton Racing. Adam out
Soon.
of Scottsdale. He probably builds, no disrespect to anybody that builds awesome JKs, but like obviously if you build a decent JK, you're in six-figure territory all day long.
For sure.
I am probably the biggest peasant he has there. Like I send thousands of dollars and I still feel like
You're low on the totem pole.
I pulled it out of my homeless encampment. His clientele is just like the ballers of
How many mortgages do you have on your house now? At least two. Could be three at this point,
IRS
right?
is listening. I'm taking donations from the earth. But
Full
less as
disclosure.
I tell people, I said, I'm building my Ferrari. I mean Jeep, and they're like, is it really that much? I'm like, I could buy a very nice used Aventador for what this JK's built. It's nuts. But
Well, Aventadors can't do Pritchett Canyon. So
they
whatever.
cannot. They cannot. But I will say, Adam over at Denton Racing, shout out to Adam. He builds some of the baddest JKs. It's not. It's the attention to detail. And coming from the aviation world,
Yeah.
like
yep,
my exhaust, when he told me how much $6,700 for exhaust.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Is
it's
it made
You
out
look
of
under there and it's
diamond?
just
oh,
freaking
dude, I can show you
gorgeous.
pictures. Custom built headers, argon filled, tigged all the way through, stainless.
Yeah.
Coated. I had it coated bronze because it's gonna be a
Sick.
white and bronze. I'll show you guys some pictures.
Yeah.
His stuff is like legit race car level stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like you see a lot of these guys with these exotics, those Lamborghini twin turbo, and the exhausts are real. That's
Yeah.
exactly how this is built before. I mean,
So sick.
it's nuts. And this is the first L8T he's doing, and a lot of the stuff was real new on the market. So just the primaries coming off the heads, those there's nothing on the market said that
You had to
pre-bend,
make 'em.
handmade all the headers that come off of it. And for those motors are so big, they're 1.7/8 or 2-inch.
Really?
Yeah, they're big air pumps.
Wow.
So we just got it off the dyno. It did 366 to the wheels and 377 torque to the
Sick.
wheels. 340s, 1 tons, and an Atlas. So
That's huge.
I'm going to take the cam card and everything because Mass Motorsports built that engine with my cam specs. And I'm going to, my buddy over Josh West that does everyone's, if you're an Ultra 4, you know who Josh West is. He tuned my 69 C10 and he tuned my last JK. I'm going to send him everything and say,
Have at it.
Do this one.
I know you can pull another 30, 40 out of it.
Yeah.
You are the man. So, yeah, I'm getting it back Father's Day weekend, and then I got like 5 weeks to do armor, lighting, comm before Jeepers Jamboree. So we'll go up there and do that. But I won't have audio done, but that's fine. I'll just sing in my head. And
Yeah.
Just let my voices.
Just put one of those Beats boxes on the
Oh,
dash.
I have one of those. I did that. I bought a car in Tucson that didn't have a radio. And I just like hot wired like a
Oh, yeah.
cigarette lighter thing. I just plugged it in the whole way back, just hung it on the dash.
You don't like listening to just the sound of a car?
At 80 to 90 miles an hour, just a lot of wind in an old car.
Oh,
in an
well.
old 59 wagon,
That's fair.
It's a lot of wind.
Cruising around town is a different story, but yeah, on
Yeah.
the freeway, that can be.
Yeah, I bought that Rambler wagon they built on Fast and Loud.
Yeah. I saw that when I was up at your shop. Love
I
it.
bought that out of a whim. I found it for sale, and I bought a car just to build that because it's AMC, it's blue, it's from Texas, it's bagged, it's LS. It's like, well, the assholes built the
Yeah.
car I've always wanted. Found it for sale. I'm like, had to have it.
Yeah.
Sent him like a deposit. Flew one way to Tucson, drove it back. I went to first stop, Baling with Harbor Freight, Crescent Wrenches, 5-gallon gas tank, and baling wire. I'm not kidding you. And then stopped off in Phoenix, hung out with some friends in there, and then buzzed back 85. And I downloaded like a GPS app because there's no speedo.
No.
The only I got flashed by a CHP officer in Arizona, just gave me a thumbs up, and literally a Camry full of like 90-year-old. Like old people, 90 years old, were like thumbs up at me, and I was doing 85. I was doing 85, and this thing just flying back. It was the raddest thing.
And no problems? You didn't have any problems?
No, not at all.
That's right.
I had
That's
to
so
bungee
sick.
the hood because the hood would never say fully. It'd come to the second detent. I'm
Yeah, which is just too sketchy.
like, nope. If that hood comes up, it's a
That's-
done deal. And then
yeah.
you can't replace patina, so
No.
I just bungeed it down and just, dude, I booked it home.
I
That's
think
rad.
Mike, when we were talking to him about when we were in Texas working with Mike Coy, the guy,
Yeah.
and he was saying that like all the Nash shit that they did on that show, like, because they have quite a few, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And he was saying that all that was because of him. He was like, dude, I'm a huge Nash guy. I've had these things since high school. Like, I love them. You know?
It's because how many times can you do a 69 Camaro or a
Right.
65
Yeah,
Mustang?
right.
or-
Little played
Mix it
out.
up.
Don't get me
little.
wrong, I would love to have a first-gen Mustang, all LS and,
Yeah.
and Pro Street, not Pro Street, but Pro Touring and all
Yep.
that. I would love to have that, but of course I'm going broke in a JK or I could have that. But yeah, but the odd
That'll be the
cars
next
are what
mortgage.
I like. Oh God, I'm already thinking.
We can't all be Jay Leno.
I know.
We tried, though.
I was gonna say I know we've had you on the podcast.
Yeah.
Previously, it was almost like actually exactly a year ago. Ironically,
It
enough.
actually was because that's when I quit my job and went full.
That's
full
right.
lit. Yeah, it was literally
Yeah.
good point. Yeah, it was literally like a year ago.
I was wondering if just like for anyone who's new, if we could just give like a brief, quick description of just like what you do, because you obtain so much Jeep knowledge, and I think it's cool for people to know that like, you know, you're not just some other guy talking out your ass.
I didn't own a
if you
JK
will.
for 6 months and I know everything because my buddy told me.
Okay, all right.
That's what you were trying to say, right? Yes.
Well,
The Facebook
Well-
groups are on point these days.
Yeah, he's been on the forums for a few years, so he knows what's up.
big
Yeah.
forum presence, but you have so much knowledge, and I just want people to know that like you're the guy, right?
I
like,
grew
you got
up-
the answers.
Yes. I grew up in the back of a 79 CJ7. My dad bought his third Jeep when I was in the second grade. When he was a teenager, it was a 79 CJ5. I think when he met my mom, he had a Jeepster Commando. No, a Jeepster, not a Jeepster Commando, but a Jeepster. I remember that very vaguely. And then my second grade, he bought a 79 CJ7 that we did the Chili Challenge in when I was a little kid. And I grew up in the back of that CJ7. My dad's best friend from high school started a Jeep business outside of El Paso called a little 4x4. I grew up there, built my Jeep there. So I've been driving Jeep since I was 10, been wrenching on them since I was like 8 years old. And I just did that. Started Sergeant Jeep when I was active duty. Little by little, out of like, I tell people now the house I rented when I was active duty, like it took 9 years for them to rent that or sell that after I left. It was like the trap house. It was the water heater was held up like, you know, not to get too much. You have to have like a metal strap for code. It was a yellow cord. I got so embarrassed bringing customers over because it was such a shithole. But humble beginnings, I would part out like 5 Jeeps in the backyard. Just wind would blow, the fence would blow down. I'm like, oh crap, everyone's seeing my shit in the backyard.
Yeah.
You know, started like that. And some of my customers were my customers back when I was at a crack house. So, but it made me enough money where I live now, and you guys see, and I built a shop. But I mean, I did that even through being a civilian and being aviation, and my short stint at being an engineer over at Northrop on the bomber program. But it finally just got to a time where they wanted me to run the weekend shift, and I was like, no, that cuts into family time.
I like
Cool.
my life.
Yeah, and I'm so thankful they pushed me to do that. Like I saw them just yesterday.
Really?
I saw them yesterday. Yeah, I went to my old boss's going away, and then my buddy's going away, and I saw most supervisors. And to this day, I'm like, thank you. They were so dumbfounded. Like, how's it doing? Are you really busy? I'm like, guys, you remember when I would like disappear every hour? That was because I was taking business calls a lot.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I was running about time, but yes, I'm not just a guy that owns a Jeep place because it makes money. I was first a Jeeper, and I tell people that like you're not just doing business with a guy that does Jeeps. You're first and foremost a kid that grew up in the back of a Jeep. Like I know every nut and bolt. Like I'm not super guru like maybe the Dennis Collins types or something like that, but the YJs and the TJs and the CJs, I know them extremely well.
Yeah.
But when you're tearing them apart and you're busting your knuckles on them, you learn some stuff.
You see every year come through. You see every model come through. You see all the
I've
different
seen
little
every
brackets here and there.
hokey bullshit come through from the auctions. I'm like, oh my God, no wonder this is wrecked. Yeah. I mean, I can tell you stupid stories and all kinds of it. But like, yeah, I just bought a Jeep, I guess just 4 months ago. It was a 07 JK 4-door from Arkansas. Rubicon, had a small engine fire. Every time I get them from Copart, I post them up. So people send me deposits before it even gets here because it's the stuff people want. And I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened to this engine fire. This is available. You know, hit me up. Guys like, I was like, I don't know what happened. Guys like, hey, there's an ARB storage cabinet in the back of that Jeep. How much do you want for it? I'm like, how the hell do you know? The pictures don't even show that. He goes, that was my Jeep.
No
and he's on my page.
way.
I'm like, oh, he goes, the transfer case blew on the interstate. Well, I get it back, and it, hopefully he doesn't hear this, it is maintained like butthole. Like nothing. What happened is the CV in the front shaft had no grease, and it finally seized, and it was purple and locked. And when it locked, the transfer case just blew
stopped.
up.
Oh my God.
And so when that blew up, all that fluid on the hot exhaust and just went up.
Damn.
And that's how I got that way. There's a couple, and my aviation career, I've done aircraft crash investigations, and some of my college has been done to that. So I can look at stuff and be like,
It's
okay,
forensics.
because of the,
It's
I can tell
forensics.
that this did this, and this is the reason this went, and that. Yeah, I get some rowdy Jeeps in there. I'm like, God. And I get some, I'm like, oh, that guy's not working for me. I guess I'll have to clean the blood off this one. But I've found, like, the recent one I just got with the KMCs you saw just come in with the engine fire. The console, I buy a lot of fire Jeeps.
Yeah.
They have the best profit margin because I can look at them and be like, oh, transfer case is good. Console didn't burn all the way down.
Yeah.
I know that the same stuff that keeps heat coming from the drivetrain up into the compartment is the same stuff that keeps the burn in the interior from
going
messing.
onto that
Yes,
stuff.
Exactly. So it was kind of melted over the console, so I beat it open. There was like two 9mm magazines in there, some tampons in there. I was like, Chick's Jeep had purple D-rings on them. Like, so sometimes I'll get the original owner, and sometimes like I've returned stuff to original owners.
Really?
I got a Jeep out of Corpus Christi. It was a 15 JK Curry's 40s Trail Readies, and it was rolled pretty good. I got it for a song, and again, I put it on my page.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, that was my Jeep." I'm like, "Crap! I'm glad you're alive because it was a."
Yeah.
She goes, "I rolled it on the freeway." She goes, "I had brain swelling, brain bleed, broken sternum." I was like, and it had some like typically the towing companies and Coparts, they're scumbags and they go through everything and they rummage through your stuff, or
Yeah.
if the transporters don't go through it. So there's some personal stuff. I talked to her on the phone and we were BSing. She's super cool. She already had another JK on Curry's and done.
Dang.
She's like hardcore.
Dialed in.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is your address? She's like, why? I was like, because there is some personal stuff in here. So
Yeah.
I put a priority rate box, packed it for as much of hers, and she's like, how much do I? I was like, I'm going to make money on this, and don't even sweat it. Like, I'm
Yeah,
going to send
yeah.
it to her. So there's sometimes I've been able to send stuff back
That's cool.
to their owners. Sometimes I get bad information. Like recently, I was a 06 out of Texas, rolled over pretty rough, but it was a nice Rubicon. I said, hey, dude, I think I have your Jeep. Is there anything? He's like, I don't think that's my Jeep. He's like, it was my brother's and it had a winch. I was like, no, I go, well, here's the title. He's like, that's my dad's name. Oh, he's like, yeah, my brother got pits from that Jeep. He died in that Jeep. I was like, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
He's like, is there anything in it? I said, there's some fishing poles. I said, he had great taste in clothes, whatever. You know, had all Ariat and all like Western wear, all
yeah.
pressed from the dry cleaners. So I was like, he was a sharp dresser, I'm sure, you know, but I have a fishing pole in there. You tell me what you want out of it.
Yeah.
I'll box it up and say, I don't need any money.
Yeah.
Just let me know and I'll send it to you.
That's
So
rad.
I've done that many times, send stuff back to the people or something like that.
That's cool.
Or if it was their Jeep and they're like, how much do you want for this? They'll give me, like that one guy gave me all the information. I knew it had 513s, had this many miles, because I don't get that when they're burning.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll give you a smoking deal because the information you gave me
It helps.
helped me
significantly.
and it made the parts worth more because I have a bit of a history. So let me help you, and then when you buy the parts back off or whatever you want, let me know. And I'll hook you up.
When you
Yeah.
get the fire Jeeps in, are you able to tell kind of what's causing the fires, or is it,
Sometimes.
sometimes like what's the most common fire failure you think you see?
I would say primarily if they start from the dash, you've got poor wiring. And you guys have seen that.
Don't look at me.
I know hands
That's
down.
what I wanted. I just wanted him to say it.
There's that poor wiring, hands down poor. If whoever's listening, if you ever put a wire nut on a Jeep, you're a hooker.
Go jump off a cliff.
You're a hooker.
You're a hooker.
Your mama's a hoe.
That's a new T-shirt.
yeah.
If you
Yeah.
put
Picture
a
of a
wire nut
wire
on a
nut?
Jeep, your mama's a hoe.
Yeah.
Those are for residential
Cut and
use.
dry. That's just what it is.
Those are for residential use. They're not for automotive use. My father is a licensed electrician in his 79 CJ7. Do you think there was wire nuts in there? Of course there was.
Of course there were.
Jesus, and self-tapping screws.
Wire
But-
knots? You
wire
ever see
knots.
wire knots?
Oh, we
Yes,
learned
I
about
have.
wire nut. He's from
I've
El
seen those-
Paso. He
I've
knows.
seen,
knows,
I've
he
seen those
knows.
around fuel lines.
Yeah.
There's an LJ that all the spare wire around the fuel line and notch. I'm like, oh, I mean,
Oh no, these are when you splice it and you pull the core
Instead of using
and
a
then
butt
you stick
connector.
you stick it through and then you wrap it around, then you electrical tape it over it. That's a wire knot.
Quite
I
literally
have seen
not
that.
it.
Yes,
Yeah,
I've
they,
seen
they
it.
take
Yeah,
two
yeah.
wires and they make a square knot.
It's hard. It's hard to
They
go to
tape
the
it.
store and get the connectors that you have to crimp. That's just way too much work. So instead, you do it
Stupid.
for free.
You got Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
That takes way too long. I need it right now.
I need my Amazon 50-inch light bar
Yeah,
now.
now.
I'm going to the
And it
mall. I'm
needs
going
to
to
be in.
Coffee and Cars or whatever those things are.
Yeah, a lot of times we do a ton of wiring
Yeah, yeah.
here, and a lot of times we get Jeeps in where I have to tell the customer, hey, look, I know you came in for ball joints, but
Yeah.
I really, really would like you to let me rewire your Jeep, and maybe just a portion of it, maybe just
here's
this
it.
section here.
So I tell people when they come in for service, if there's something that I find that's a safety concern, and I'm wiring, I'm stringent. I'm aviation world. I'm
Yeah,
crazy about
yeah.
wiring, OCD. I call it my aviation OCD. If I find something that's a safety hazard, you either pay me to pay. There are no questions asked. You're going to pay me to do it, or it gets flat bedded out of here. You cannot drive it out. You cannot nothing. You have to. I fix it, or it gets flat bedded. You cannot drive it off the premises in that kind of condition.
It's probably a good policy for liability.
It's California. Everybody wants to sue everybody. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not even gonna that. And I needed to bring it to your attention because some people, and I know you guys have seen it on the
Oblivious.
internet, you guys seen it on social media. Oh, I did this, and they think they're a hot ship. And I'm like, don't be too humble to say you did it wrong. There's nothing. The humble you are, and you admit you did it wrong, and just listen.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
let us help.
People have
We
a
were-
lot more
Yeah.
respect for you in that sense.
Yes, we were born with 2 ears and 1 mouth, but everyone uses.
You only
mouth
get sued,
more than the
though.
ears, you know?
only get sued if people know who you really are.
Yeah, that's why we all go by fake names.
Yeah. What's my name? David. right?
Valentino.
No.
Oh.
David.
I'm Pablo.
Ashley. Yeah, I don't think most people have a concept until it's too late of the fact that they're driving like a 5,000-pound death machine that's not only going to be responsible for your life, but potentially somebody else's. Like, it really matters.
I had an argument with the guy came into a scrambler. He's like, I'll just take the bag. I'll go slow. I was like, it's not about you. If you want to
No.
wad yourself up, think about the family, the four people in the car that you're driving next to.
Yeah.
Like everyone always thinks about, and it's natural, no wrong, but they're thinking about themselves.
Yeah.
Dude, unless you're at 2 a.m. and no one is around, you're driving on the road with other people. If that tire falls off or this falls off, or you're gonna wad someone else up that's just trying
Yeah.
to get home to their family. So don't be such a dipshit and do shit the wrong way.
I had one in here. I'm not going to say any names, but I had one that came in here as a JL, and dude, the wheel was off, like damn near off. It had a wheel spacer on it, and I jacked it up in the back to look at the other side.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I walked around to go get in the car to go test drive it, the wheel was like this. And I was like,
shit.
I just test drove that. Like, I just went down the block and back, and I was like, wow, this thing does drive kind of funny, a little bit all over the place. For some reason, you didn't really feel it.
Really?
I was tripping out, and I was like, dude, I need to, like, holy shit. Like, caught me off guard. I literally
Yeah.
had to sit there for a second and go, I almost just went into the freeway, like, oncoming through the fence and everything, like,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And it kind of scared the shit out of me. I
Yeah,
was like,
there's some places
okay.
that if you have any sort of wheel space or adapter, they
They
won't
don't touch
like
it.
the corporate discount or American Tire.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, at one of my Camaros, I have like a spacer like this big.
Shim.
They're like not even touching it. Not even. I was like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, that's the one thing that we'll do here is a lot of places around here won't do beadlocks or wheel spacers, but
Yeah.
we do beadlocks, we do wheel spacers, but we're confident because we do them right and we know how to do them right.
Yeah. So on the wheel spacers or adapter, anyone who's listening, always get hub centric.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always get hub centric. They cost what, $20 a
And
set
don't
more at
stack
best.
two of them on top of each other.
Yeah, definitely do that. And then
But
and
3
then
is
the-
okay.
The wheel studs that come out of it, if they're coarse thread, trash.
Yeah.
Get
They
fine
have
thread.
to be fine thread, hub centric. I mean, yeah, you can buy ones on Amazon for $20.
But
they're gonna
Spider
be
Tracks
shit.
makes them, they're what, $80 a
And then-
set?
but you-
G2. Well,
and-
G2 is probably not still around, but yeah, those
Yeah.
hub centric, good quality. Like
You also
if
have to
they're
be
a couple
careful
bucks,
too because a lot of guys will put those on. They won't realize that their factory studs stick out a tiny bit,
and it bottoms out on the wheel, and they don't fully.
and then they
Yeah.
So there's a few trick things.
That and
but-
Loctite, dude. Like, you'd be amazed at how many people don't put Loctite on the one that goes to the hub, right? Which
Yeah, dude.
Every single time
Me?
you get a brand new one in the box, it has Loctite in it, and I'm like, all right, I'll stick to it, dude. I'm a firm believer in that. Like, you almost want that part to be permanent. You know, I'll still be able to get it off later.
I'm crazy about Loctite and anti-seize. If you don't use anti-seize,
I
on your
love
skid plate
anti-seize,
bolts,
dude.
your mama's a hoe.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm
Okay.
right there with you. I'm right there with you.
You gotta leave that on. It's okay. We're not.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's
okay.
It's so weird how people will always reference like mechanics trying to screw you over. They're trying to upsell you, blah blah. Nobody ever talks about the times that a mechanic literally saves your life.
And you didn't even know
That's
it.
a very good point, actually.
You don't even know
Why?
it.
There's some credit, dude. There's some credit.
Yeah, where's our credit? Hey, what's up? What's up, audience?
Yeah.
And half the time you don't even know. It's something like you said that you caught that you go, wow, if I would have sent this out here and not been doing my due diligence, this guy could have died. But instead, the rap that we get is, they're trying to
Okay, but
upsell me.
imagine if
Blah,
I
blah.
drove that vehicle for another, I don't know, however far I went, even if I
Around
just
the
went
corner?
around the block,
Around the
whatever. And I came back and it was still holding on just by a thread. And then that guy goes in. I go, yeah, dude, you're good to go. I checked your
that's-
alignment in the front. That's what you're
that's a
complaining
lawsuit.
about.
That's-
all
it's a-
day
it's a
long,
wrap.
dude.
It's a wrap.
all day long.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like, oh god, dude, that's so close.
So what I do is I'll take pictures and I'll send it to the customer. It's like, hey, this is what I'm finding. And sometimes it'll be like I just did a YG. If you guys saw that security Jeep, excuse me, I just did. It was in better than average shape, but there were so many nitnoid dumb electrical things that were just crappy. So I just took pictures of every little thing, and I'm like, hey, whoever you had to do this last work did this. It's kind of an overload on them, but I also offer like full, because I know so much about Jeeps, I do full top to bottom inspections. Wheels come off, I pull plugs. I mean, I'm looking under the dash, I'm looking for
Everything.
bad spots. I go top to bottom. He's like, he almost thought he had a piece of junk. I'm like, no, your Jeep isn't better than average, but I'm giving you the legit, like, I'm working on it and inspecting. If it was my own, put my family in it, and I'm going, to an event or something like that.
Sorry.
What?
Hannah's losing it.
We were just talking about wiring and fires. Troy, who's
Oh, no. Did he just text you?
Forerunner we were just working on.
Did it catch on fire on the way home?
Let me preface this by saying Troy was working on it, not us. Which it's a basket case. He says, just made it home. Only one little fire. No big deal.
I mean,
Was it on the inside or the outside?
What
Where
kind of
the
fire was it?
Can we get some specifics?
Yeah, we're going to need some details.
Can we
here.
pin him in on this thing? How do we get him on a call?
Russo,
Yeah. What'd I do?
am I allowed to bring this up? Did you tell David that you knocked over an entire argon?
Oh
tank?
yeah, I did.
Wait, what? When?
An argon bottle. I
Today?
No, this was a couple weeks ago. It was fully empty.
Here.
Yes.
They're never fully empty, bro.
No, because
Did you have a little spinner cap on?
Yeah, I did. Actually.
Well, then I don't care.
even if you didn't have a spinner cap on, there's no holes in the walls, no teeth are missing.
See?
It's
Everything's
okay.
fine. It did scare the shit out of me, though. I
Yes,
swear
I'm
to God,
sure.
my
Oh,
heart
yeah.
was racing after
For
that.
sure.
Dude.
It's the one that we have on. Oh, it's an argon. So
Right over there.
was it on your machine?
No, it was Mig Mix. But it was like
75,
the one that we
25.
just emptied, and it was like over just against the
Oh,
workbench.
oh, oh.
And I had to get the little rolly cart out, and so I pulled it out, and I'm like looking what's in front of me, so I'm not running into anything. And then I'm like just walking back, still looking, and all of a sudden I just hear, ding,
Dude,
ding,
that
ding,
is
ding, ding.
loud.
And I was like,
Waiting for the rocket.
Dude,
hit the deck.
I was thinking of you because the other day when we were here on Saturday, I was trying to get a kind of a car battery all the way in the back of the shop, and I couldn't pick it up, so I was just pushing it along the floor, and I went right. It's in a cardboard box.
Okay.
It was in a cardboard box.
Yeah, I was just grinding the plastic off, just letting just the AGM acid just flow out of it. Anyway, I was pushing it across the shop right here, and there's that little cart right there that has those two bottles in it. I have never looked at it. I have no clue what's in there, but my foot caught it on the way by, and I watched that thing like tink, tink, tink back and forth.
The
like, just
oxyacetylene?
That's oxyacetylene.
as close as it could get to tipping over, and I was like, Russo just fucking did this. Please don't. And obviously I survived, but I thought of you.
Wow.
Love that for us.
Yeah.
This is why.
Isn't that
It's
right?
getting dangerous around
She
here.
about blows the shop up, and
Yeah.
the first person he thinks of is you. That's what
Damn.
This is the hazards
I
that
don't
we go
have
through.
I don't have that that stigma to me either. You know, some people are just accident prone. I'm not, I mean, knock on wood by all
Oh,
means, but
well.
Yeah, I can think of a person.
like Hunt's the one that smashed his finger, right? Like,
Hunt's for sure accident prone when it comes to body damage.
Oh, like
He's a-
like person.
Yeah, like he damages his body.
That was my first month going like when I quit my job the first month, pull my
Couldn't
hand
get
out
out
from
of your
somewhere,
own way?
barely cut my finger on something. I beat myself. I'm like, this is the first month in.
Yeah.
Like I might need to rethink about this because
double up
like
on that
oh
tetanus.
I've like my hands bandaged up, my head's I'm like limping back in to get my peanut butter and jelly at lunch. I'm like, I'm not sure if this was the right decision. Like I don't know about this.
Mistakes have
maybe
been
I'm
made.
a weekend guy. I was just a fluke. I
Like
was
Jake,
oh,
I'm
man.
surprised he's legitimately has all of his digits. I mean,
Yeah.
remember when he went to the junkyard to get that axle?
Yeah.
Is that the one that's in his Exploder?
No.
It's a different one?
Different
So you
one.
know when you pick
Wait,
up an
what?
axle, a front axle,
The knuckles.
the knuckle
pin?
turns, right? Well, he picked it
He was
up.
by himself, first of all.
He picked it up right where the stop thing goes.
Oh, and the stop
it's-
got him?
And he picked it up and it swung all the way, so full speed. Wha-bam!
Scream like a schoolgirl.
He
Yeah,
came
dude.
into work.
You only
he-
do that one time.
Oh, he came into work. He's like, yeah.
No, he did it a second time on something else. That's how he.
Oh my God, this is what I mean. Like, Jake,
Mm-hmm.
Ouch.
why? His fingers are.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
I smashed my nail. That was about as
Oh,
bad
that
as
was-
it
that
gets.
was a John
That
Bull.
fucking hurt, dude.
He was stacking rocks. He was trying to
Wait,
help
don't
us.
look at me.
I was trying
Do
to
me a
help Jake.
favor.
What?
Do me a favor. Only I know this because I will show you scars. When you have cutting wheels and grinders, please use gloves.
Fuck, dude.
I nearly was like,
Oh, like Jake's arm. Oh, maybe like Jake's arm.
I saw you and I wanted
No,
to text. I wanted to hit you up and they're like, please, not trying to call you out. Ask me how I know that scar and see that
Look.
black spot right there?
Yeah.
That's disc material.
No, it's okay. So I do have a history with grinders and cutting wheels,
Yeah,
except
tell us about.
I've never injured myself, just other people.
You won't until you do.
I had one almost.
Jake still wears the shirt that has a slice in the sleeve.
Okay, no. Back up. Okay, so
He does.
In my defense, it's crunch time. We're getting ready for hammers. We've got like days left to get
We're
the
working
CJ
on top
together.
of each other,
Putting
quite
gloves
literally.
on takes like
Dude, we literally
2
were
seconds.
like nuts to butts, shoulder to shoulder
that's
with
hot.
the fucking. Not when you're. Never mind. With the CJ up in the air and we're all under there, right? But we're like, at least like, next to each other, not
Yeah.
like literally under each other. No, except for Hunsinger, right? Because he's Hunsinger.
teabag.
If you know him, then you know. And I have a cutoff wheel in my hand, and I'm cutting something above my head. And I've been doing it for like a minute, so my arms are tired. So when I'm done, I kind of just bring it back down. Like I didn't drop it, but I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
kind of like bring it back down to like maybe like belly button area.
And he had
if you
snuck
will.
in there to measure something.
Oh,
And so he decides, oh, she's cutting something. I should stand directly underneath her. That's a smart move, right? And so that's what he
Ouch.
did. And so I come down, and his arm is literally like reached across right underneath
Oh,
me.
man.
And so I just came down right on
Like
his
right
arm.
across his shoulder, dude.
good
It
thing,
was-
And
good thing it
cut
was
his
already
arm
spooling
open.
down. Oof.
Still though,
Oh yeah, for
he's
sure.
got a big old gash in his shirt and his arm. And just to taunt me, he wears that shirt almost every day.
right
At least he's a
after,
good sport about it.
Oh,
Right
Dude.
after was funny because you could see the scar, and right through the shirt was
Dude,
a
I
scar.
hate
It
those
was,
cutting
like,
wheels when they
perfect.
get like a little ding and dude, I had when I had gloves on, I was cutting and it come off and it walked up my hand. That's what that scar and that black dot.
Yeah.
My buddy
These were
Steven.
gloves.
You ever
Alright,
have them
alright.
grab your mittens? Like,
Oh yeah. You
That
know
was
what?
the
What would
scariest
look cool
one.
is when you're on social media and you're doing something and your big toe is now your thumb. That wouldn't be so hot. You should probably think about
gotta
that.
pay the bills
Can you imagine
somehow.
like, oh, look at my new heat waves, and
Yeah.
instead of your thumb, it's your big toe glued to your.
I don't think
I don't think that would.
Oh,
I don't
would
think
just-
they'd appreciate that.
I'd just tell him to cut it off.
I'm just saying, you might want to wear some gloves.
I know people are into feet, but
You also have to wear a face shield.
no.
Because my buddy Steven, he was cutting overhead like that.
Oh, yeah.
And it kicked. And it went, he's got a cut right down his forehead.
Oh, I've had one hit me in the like when they break, the cutting wheels break and they just
Oh,
go
yeah.
every damn where.
Yeah.
I've had one hit my
Oh my God.
glasses, but that's from aviation, so I'm not nerdy about it. I always
Yeah.
have hearing protection. And, like even my son's around, I'm like, boy,
what are you
goggles
doing?
and hearing gloves.
Nobody
Hearing-
realizes the
hearing-
danger of working on Jeeps. Our lives are on the line.
I get
Our mental-
secondhand nervous watching people use cutoff wheels. I'm like, oh god, oh god, oh god. I'm just gonna
dude.
go over here.
I can't watch people use lathes or drill presses. I gotta walk
Yeah.
away.
Man.
Did they make you guys look at? I don't know if you guys. I know it was like Vietnam era when you were in high school, but when you were in high school, did they make you guys like in auto or shop class or metal shop look at
No,
a
because
photo?
back then all we had was record players. So sorry.
Yeah, see, you're proving my point. Okay, did they make you guys look at a photo of a person who had been sucked into a lathe?
No, but when I was in the Air Force, we had a lot of pictures of a guy was wearing a ring and he got his hand pulled off and his skin,
Loved it.
skin and he has a nub. There's another one where
Yeah.
he was, we call it hot shotting. Basically, you have a big air compressor, use the high side and the low side. He was hot shotting with the high side and blew the nose tire, and they're super thick, obviously, aircraft. And it basically pasted him against the tire compressor, and you just
Yeah.
see half of a leg and a tube sock up next to what
my
was his
God.
head.
Yeah.
Oh, they scared the hell out of us.
Dude,
Oh.
I mean,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
effective for sure, but
Yeah.
like at least you were like a somewhat adult. I was like a 16-year-old, and I'll never be able to unsee a picture of like a body unzipped on a fucking like why? Like it worked, but
Yeah, it worked. You still
Apparently
took- No,
not.
because she didn't wear gloves.
Yeah.
I'm safe with the
'Kay.
lathe. You're not supposed to wear gloves
Yeah.
with the lathe, so
Not with a lathe.
No, not with the leg, because it'll get you. Or baggy shirts.
Yeah, for real.
I watch the guys I get nerded out on these videos, and I'm like, oh, how do they make that? And these
Oh, dude,
dudes
every
doing
time.
molten lava and metal, and they're wearing those little Jesus shoes, and I'm like, what are they doing? And they're doing these lathe, and they have like, I'm like, they're pouring hot like molten metal, and they're wearing like chunklas, like,
And they don't have a workbench. They're
No.
always
They,
I'm like-
they're all Slav squatting.
or they got
Yeah.
a little, they're welding with like.
Crocs on, seen that.
You're welding, and they have like a piece of a glass, and they're like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Have you ever seen
Like
the videos
expect-
of the guys welding who they live out in remote areas and they have a hook, like a steel hook, and they literally throw it up onto the power line. And it hooks on the power line, and then they hook up their welder, and then they weld trucks together.
Or the cook meth.
yeah, that too.
People
I mean, that's like, you know, that's just like
Joshua Tree.
third world countries, right? They're trying to fix some guy's truck out in the middle of nowhere, and they
Third
just,
world countries with just active power lines.
yeah.
Oh
we have
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Okay.
It's legit.
it is.
We check the facts on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not
Somebody
a
go on Snopes and make sure I'm not lying.
yeah, this isn't a fact check
And
podcast. Just
Check
so
out my
you
Friendster.
know. So you did want to ask Tommy about a project he's got going on, correct?
Well, that's the we.
How
well,
many?
well, we talked about the
JK.
the one project that's at
Denton Racing?
Denton Racing.
Or I thought there was a
That's the
different
only one you got going right now that's yours, right? Or how many do you have that are yours right now? Do you got any CJs in the work?
I got my original CJ 79 CJ5.
one. Who has more pink slips? Maybe
I was
is the
just
question.
about to ask.
No,
how
dude,
many,
no,
I need to
no,
know.
no.
That
Hey,
doesn't
dude.
really
No, no,
count.
it
But I
doesn't
want to know
count.
how many he has.
It doesn't count because
Like Jeeps at my shop or my personal
that you
Jeeps?
own.
Both.
well, but he owns
Okay,
the
so
cars
I've
he's
got
selling.
I've got about right now, if you came out to the shop, I've got about 115, 120 Jeeps.
How many pink slips do you have?
That he's got 120.
More than that because I crush them and I
Just
either
keep it.
keep them or in case somebody comes around
Okay.
and says something.
How many active pink slips?
Define active.
Registered and insured.
And exists?
That's cheating. What's a
I have
register?
22 of them.
Like Jeeps that I have, I think I'm.
Well, it
up
could be all
around
vehicles.
16.
Count everything.
Oh,
Count it all.
I don't wanna
Motorcycles,
count it
trailers,
That
all
sounds
of it.
kind of arrogant, me going through my vehicles.
Well, don't just give you a number. See, he's going to beat me. Doesn't matter. The guy owns a wrecking yard. Like, sorry,
Well, I've
a
got-
recycling
It's
center.
man.
I've got about 15 or 16 Jeeps that are Jeeps, my Jeeps.
Yeah, see, he's got. This is what I'm striving to become.
I had
You
to find
got-
someone
you got,
to
like,
beat you.
I wanna
dailies,
do
your
this-
I'm
tow
20
truck.
something,
I
something
want
like
to.
that.
I'm going to be Tommy status
20
one day.
something.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a disease. Just like I keep saying, I'm gonna.
Trust me, I
I can
have
only
it.
drive so many Jeeps. I'm not gonna buy another Jeep. And then what I do last night,
Buy another
whoever
Jeep.
that was in my
Just
on my
had to get
social
another
media.
one.
So last week I was headed out to Adelanto, Copart, just buzzing East Lancaster, taking Avenue J out to Saddle Butte Road, going the back way. Flying, I'm going. I've passed by this property bazillions of times, and I just look, and it's way out in the way. I'm like, oh, it's like, oh shit, that was like a Bronco or something. Whatever, I'll check it on the way back. So I get out, come back, and I stop, and I look, because I just caught it directly from the front. And I look from the side, I'm like, oh shit, that's a Jeepster Commando, which was only 72 to 73 with the bullnose. I'm like, I instantly like get all nerded out. I'm like, oh my god! So, like I've got this burnout JK, and I'm going around this dirt road around these people's property, like four-wheeling it back in the dually, and I pull out, and I'm like totally nerding out on it, and I'm like, and I have been looking for an original green white top bullnose Commando with a V8 because I've got two 401 just sitting in the shop that I want to.
The missing piece
drop-
to the
yeah,
puzzle
exactly.
is literally sitting there.
Look, and this was the day I seen it, like
Oh,
through the
that's
chain link
awesome.
fence, just sitting
So
on this
rad.
dude's.
So then, how do you get on that property and ask him without
So
getting
I'm like
shot?
honking. It's like 1:30, honking my horn. He's obviously not there. His gate, and he's like, I sound like a jerk, but you could tell they're pretty low income, poor. They got random cars and they live like in a container home and their fences are particle board. Just typical, whatever. They're probably the best people out there though. And he was super cool, even though he didn't own it, though he sold it to me. I'll tell you that story. So I go out there the next day. I'm like, Brighton, get in the car. We got to run out to East Lancaster. So I get out there like 7:30. He's got to be home from whatever job. And I see him out in the distance and I'm like, honking my horn. I'm like, yes, senor. And he comes out here. I was like, hey, is this and I'm totally dumbing it down because I don't want to like tell him. I'm like, that wagon thing, is that for sale? He's like, yeah, my son owns it. Let me ask him if it's for sale. I'm sure it's a project. And I'm like, yeah, let me know. And he never called me. And then we went to the Heidi's Roundup and back. And I finally got a hold of him. He's like, yeah. I was like, you want a price? He's like, we want 7,000. I'm like, wrong. Like, you're just shooting at the sky. For the right person, maybe. I was like, what do you offer? I'm like, well, I need to go on the property, lift the hood, check it out. So I go out there, So I go out there, and of course, like, I know what I'm going to pay for it. I throw some cash in the truck, and I come out there with a trailer, because if I'm going to go out there, I might as well take the truck and trailer. So I go out there, and I pulled up some, like, it's hard to find bull noses because they weren't nearly as popular as the Jeepsters with the CJ type front end. Mm-hmm. So I pull up some all over the place, and I save them so I can show them, hey, this is what the going prices. So he's like, well, let me see. I'm like, I offered him like 35. And he's like, no, give me $5,000. I'm like, I'm not giving you $5,000. It's not worth that. And I'm dumbing it down. There's dirt in the engine, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about the 304. They're gutless. I'm going to put a 401 in it, whatever. I was like, hey, I wouldn't really want this. If it was part of my business, I was going to resell. So, long story short. So I get it for like $42.50. Some people think it's a score, but a lot of people just don't like bull noses. I love them. But I like all Jeeps. I'm a complete Jeep dork. I like all. Something about them, I like them all. And so that's like my fourth Jeepster now. So we get it done, and then he goes, well, I'll get you the title. I'm like, whatever. You were talking about, you're a good guy. You got a handshake. You're not going to screw me over. I know where you lay your head. You know? So I'm not worried about it. So start loading it up, and then he pulls his neighbor out. He's like, oh, my son bought it off that guy. And I got like radar hearing, and I'm hearing, he's like, hey, the title. He told me just to come by another day. So he didn't own this thing. His neighbor asked him to put it in his yard, and he goes, well, I'd like to buy it and probably negotiate. I'll get you some money some other time, whatever. So come to find out, that guy still owns it. He brings the title out, tells me, hey, we couldn't get it, spark, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so I'm already catching on. I'm like, I know what the guy did. Whatever, I don't care. I got it for what I want. I don't care if he bought it for $5, whatever. So then I can hear him out in the distance. He's like, hey, I'll bring you a money order tomorrow, whatever, blah, blah. So he goes behind his car, and that wad of cash I give him, I see him counting out a certain point. And I tell Brighton, my son, I'm like, he didn't even own that. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, that man owned that car. He just had it over here. He just sold it, and I'm sure they had some predetermined price. Because he told, I'll bring you a little more than what we agreed or whatever. Yeah. So I go out, I've got it all strapped down, go out his price. And I could tell he's thinking I'm not catching on. I know the whole gig. I'm playing dumb. I'm not taking this thing back off my trailer. I don't give a shit. It's going with me. I gave you cash. I got a title. I'm bouncing. So I go, Brighton, watch. He's gonna follow me out of his property. He's gonna go drive over there. So that's what he did. He drove over there and paid the man. Paid the man. I was like, whatever. I mean, he hustled it. Whatever.
Hey, they both get a couple grand.
I could care less. I got what I wanted. That thing smelled like death inside. So this morning I kind of just washed it off to get it off the trailer because I obviously had to bring the trailer up to you guys or down to you guys. Man, that thing smelled like death.
So bad.
It is so bad. There is a rotting cat or something in there. I got really dark humor.
It is a desert.
I got really dark humor.
You never know.
If it's a tweaker, nobody's missing anything.
Right.
But there's something dead in there. I washed it out this morning. And I was like, and I drove it like it wasn't but a 25-minute drive to the shop. So I rolled the windows half down. I'm like 80 miles an hour. I'm gonna blow something out of this thing. Yeah. It still smells.
It's like when we got Cole's Willie's up in Ramona. There was a goat living in it. So when we got the goat rustled out of it.
What?
Yeah, when I got Cole's
legitimately
Willie's,
like a goat living in it.
Yeah, the goat was pissed because that was like his home.
Well, yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I grew up with goats. They're
ornery.
They will eat anything.
Dicks.
There was a goat inside the Willys when you bought it.
Yeah.
And so did you negotiate with the goat?
Yeah, the goat wasn't part of the deal. I tried to make it part of the deal.
He was trying to lien sale it. It didn't go through.
Dude, goats will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it smelled really bad, and we thought, well, we'll get all the goat shit out of it, and it'll be fine, right? And we did all that, and the car still smelled, and he power washed it, and on the inside took all the
Yeah.
seats out, right?
Yeah.
And so like, okay, it was the seats, and I'm like, God damn, man, this thing still smells like shit, dude. What's wrong? And so Cole started taking off the panels in the back of that wagon are just like cardboard, right?
Yep.
They're like,
Against the outer panels.
and
Yeah.
inside of both of those areas was
Just rats.
just dead rats on both sides. I'm like, well, there's the smell.
That's the one.
So that's what I'm looking to find. Like, I can see into most of it, but there's some like the gas tank skid and some stuff in there. I was
Yeah.
like,
There's
I already looked under the
something,
front
dude.
seat. I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna find rats or whatever. So
You're gonna.
I'm gonna go in there with a mask and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And just, it's.
I think I've got
rowdy.
pictures of Cole when we first got it, and he was,
Holding
God,
it.
how old was he? Like 10 or
Young,
11?
dude. Young.
Like, and he's got gloves and masks, and
Yeah,
I'm
dude.
making him in there, and he's like trying to pressure wash it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So nasty.
So now you, being a CJ guy, you've seen our CJ. You were looking at it earlier, and don't sugarcoat it.
Oh,
Tell
I'm
me
not
what you would have
sugarcoating.
done different.
I would have lightened some. There's some things you did that added weight to it that I don't think.
Was that important?
I think you added a little extra weight in certain places that I don't think is needed because of the thickness of steel you started with. That's getting into the weeds. With leaf springs, I haven't seen it on a ramp. I don't think you really need limiting straps with leaf springs because they limit themselves through the
Keep
droop
in mind
and
we
the
have
shackles.
class limitations though.
Yeah. There's
okay.
rules and such
Yeah,
like that. I
okay.
totally get that. But I would love to drive that. I would love to be seen in that thing. I think you guys absolutely knocked it out of the park. Absolutely. I
Because
told
it means a
you
lot
when you
for
did
me.
it.
It means a lot to me.
I grew
coming
up in
from Tommy.
CJs.
He's an honest man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Give,
tried to-
shoot it to us straight.
No, I think the fact that you guys kept it that I'm a nut for like 70s colors. Brown, that green.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
nut for 70s, early 80s colors. That's what, 85, 84?
That's an 85, yeah.
The fact that you put Renegade, like the Renegade stripes on there with that factory brown, I was just
That
like,
brown color's so sick too.
dude, it's
Dark
so, it
metallic.
looks so
It is
good.
such a half-ass shop paint job that we did back here.
'Cause it's a
but
race
it came
car.
I
out
think it looks
so good. Like
better
considering
than a Mako. Dude, it looks great in the sun. It looks great in the shade. I think you guys absolutely nailed it. As far as like racing it, a manual probably wasn't the best. I know you guys wanted to keep a little OG aspect to it, a manual.
Well, the thing
A
came with an
720
automatic.
That's
A
not why.
727 probably would have been a built with Kevlar clutches, yeah, blah blah blah. Probably would have
Sure.
been a little easier. There's a couple weight saving things. Like my JK's built. Even Adam was like, "Dude, your shit's really light. Like I build everything super light because less strain on parts. You get more power.
Well, yeah, power to weight.
You could keep going and going and going. But yeah, I love it. I think you guys absolutely killed it. Shout out to you. You killed it. Like, you did it really well taking, because I remember last time I was here, like, I don't even know how to wheel. And we were talking about his Toyota, you out wheeling it. Like, for you to go out there and, like, have, like, I know you had some social media attention and all this being a chick, and for people, oh, the only reason she's in this position because she's a chick, whatever. I'll be totally truthful. I was like, pretty face, blah, 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 whatever. Like, I was questionable. You killed it. Like, to go through like turkey claw the way you did, like I watched it live. Like I shut down the shop. I'm like, no customers. Because the first year I didn't go because there's the largest collection of the world's biggest and considered assholes is hammers
Yeah.
during
Yes.
KOH week. So I just stopped. You killed it. Like totally proud of you. You killed it. Manual clutch, going through there, doing what you did. You kept your composure, and you didn't wreck it. It wrecked itself. Like
Yeah.
you killed it. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think you
really
did an
appreciate that.
outstanding job.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure I really put in the effort of like being here, being of help, like being hands on.
Yeah. And even the driving, like you were one of the few people. Like this is a whole awesome to her thing. This is where we change subject. Like there's a lot of people there's a lot of females in automotive social media right now, and the first thing they do is they like, oh, look at my tires in their yoga pants and their ass. Like we're so sick of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like you come fully clothed, you're not selling yourself with half your ass hanging out. Like you get in there, you weld, you get in there, you're like, hey, I don't know shit about this, so you're one of the few that's really doing this right. You're not trying to sell yourself on social media as I'm the cute girl within the yoga pants. Look at the way I do, that crap, and it's all over social media. And it's like those of us that, I mean, some of the, I hate to use this word, the simps that are out there eat that stuff up. But those of us that like don't get
Just
off on that,
wholesome.
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
Yeah,
like I want
well-
to see a chick not because she has a nice ass in yoga pants. That's a dime dozen,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Like you like good out there. You weld. You're fully clothed. You're doing all that. So like
Good on you putting on pants.
And,
Yeah.
yeah. Well done. You didn't forget those. But like
No.
you're actually out there in the shop getting dirty and welding.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And like we spoke of earlier, there's these assholes that come on and make those comments like they made earlier. I noticed I read some of your shit. Like I was telling her, like these guys that are making comments about her,
I
oh,
know.
you gained weight. Like, yeah. Post a picture of your wife. I dare you. I fucking dare you. Bro, I dare you. Because I told her, I was like, these dudes that are making comments, they're the miserable guys that go home to fuck the dog to beat the wife.
Yeah.
They're not like I know you say guess you say don't let it get to you because these dudes like their wives have like
Useless.
they're you came home, oh yeah, you're eating chicken wings again, yay.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
let me go back to work and hang out with my guy
Yeah.
friends because
Yeah. No,
Dude.
Hannah's the real
Yes.
deal.
shout out to you, you're killing it. I'm super proud of you for that.
I really appreciate you saying that. I think it's important to earn your keep, and it's cool to get credit like that sometimes. But I don't look for it. I don't ever want to like be recognized for anything other than just like genuinely having enthusiasm
Yeah.
and being enthusiastic about this, trying to gain knowledge everywhere I can. That's what it's about.
Well,
So
you're
thank
doing
you.
it. You're doing it the hard way. Honest to God, you're doing it the hard way.
On purpose.
The easy way would be like I'm saying, put little yoga shorts on and, oh, look at me wash my windshield. Like, why am I watching you wash your windshield and all I can see? Like, you're doing it the hard way. The cheap
you.
way, the easy way would be doing it up. 90% of the other chicks are doing it, and you're not doing that. So, like,
Well, Hannah's in this
Well
from.
done.
Have you been here a year yet?
yes, she has.
Yeah.
Has it been 2 years?
It's been like
Year and some change.
7 or something.
Because she was fairly new when I came for the last podcast.
Yeah.
Like somewhat
I'm
a
not
little
good with time or names.
bit. Father Time's
Been
not
like-
good with time or name.
So
a year or no, my first day was your birthday.
Was it?
Yeah, because
That's
remember
right.
I watched you do a gear job and it just terrified me because you're like an octopus when you do gears and it's like the way Russo does gears.
well, he's also a gorilla, so he can grab the
Yeah.
carrier with one hand and set it on the bench and
It's
keep
like
going.
it's like when they had Shaquille O'Neal with like the one basketball in one hand, he's
Yeah.
just grabbing it like this.
yeah,
Same
and
thing.
I'm learning how to hold a basketball for the first time or play basketball, and I watched you Shaquille O'Neal it on my first day, and I was like, all right,
Yeah.
so I'm never gonna amount to literally anything. That's cool.
No, Hannah, I knew right away
That's my
was
jam.
not when she's doing all this stuff. She's genuinely doing it because she's like us. She's doing it because she wants to know how to do it. She's doing it because she wants to learn how to do it.
One
Just
of
because
us.
she wants to go
One
off
of
roading
us.
and she wants to know how to do all the stuff we do. Right? It's not because she's trying to learn it for clout or she's trying to learn it to get more followers. She's learning it because she wants to. Whether there was a camera there or not a camera there, she would still be doing the same
But
thing.
even if she is doing it for clout and all that, she's doing it you're doing it the right way. And obviously, from the year ago I met you, from what your social media was now to now with Hoonigan and all that, you're doing it the right way. I think you're doing a phenomenal
Yeah.
job because, like I said, you're not doing it the cheap way.
No.
And even if
I
you're doing
am.
this to later on get famous and get a TV show, there's nothing wrong with self promotion. There is nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. Like.
All right, enough about me. Jesus Christ, I really
All right, let's make her
appreciate
more
it,
uncomfortable.
But
So-
holy shit.
Well, I was saying about promotion, self-promotion is like, I think that's, where I learned like to promote yourself once you get on social media, and everyone, you either love this guy or hate this guy. Richard Rollins from Gas Monkey.
okay.
Everyone knows like, oh, he's arrogant. That dude went from sleeping on his sister's couch to a multimillionaire in a short amount of time.
Very
Right.
short.
You don't do that like accidentally. I read his book. Came out with a book and it was so good. I read it from cover to cover in no time, and I'm retarded. Like I can
don't know how
read,
to
but
read.
like
It takes a long time. I'm in the same boat.
I mean, like
I
I,
read
have
so
attention.
slow.
Like I was the guy in school. Like you just read a sentence. What was that sentence about? I'm like, duh. Like if it's not and if I don't, it doesn't entertain me. I want not. I can
Yeah.
read it 10 times. I
Yeah.
couldn't tell you what the hell it means. But anyway, this book had me like gripped because it was business that and it was kind of culture-ish. But he was like, I just learned how to promote myself, and he does. He's the biggest promotion whore out there, but it does really well for him. And he's so in his book, there's a part of it that talks about that. And so I'm like, well, and even to this day, like I slack on social media because I don't know, I feel like I'm arrogant. And the thing I,
feel
hate
like
the
you
most
do a
is
great job.
I don't like narcissistic. One of my pet peeves is inconsiderate narcissistic people. In today's social structure we have, in social
90%
media,
of it.
people are so fucking narcissistic and think they matter when you really don't matter. I don't matter. Nobody here
No.
fucking matters.
None
You
of
think, oh,
us.
people are gonna think this. Nobody gives a fuck about you. Nobody gives a fuck about me. So
Trust me, I
why do you
know.
think you're
people,
so?
People
You're not
tell me
special.
every day,
But what I'm saying is like,
you don't matter.
yeah,
I know.
the minute I really got on social media, hey, what I've got and blah blah blah, like it made a huge difference. I'm like, God, I feel so like, oh, I don't like to do it. Like even when I went and did all new shirts and hats, I have a hard time. Like, hey, I have hats. I did it for like 3 days and I haven't posted another. I'm like, well, what's the word? You're bullshit. You know, like you can go to the mall and buy the
what
same
makes
shit.
you
Like,
so special I have to wear your
exactly.
shirt?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Yeah.
feel. I'm like, God, Tommy, bounce out of it. Like there's people out there like that have business, that had shows and have shops. Like they've told me, I know some of these people with some of these shows and stuff out there in the industry, and like their business, their shop is only funded by selling shirts, hats, stickers, keychains, that such things. Like they don't make money on builds and all that other stuff.
No.
It's crazy.
I give them away. I get in trouble for it all the time.
I think in the business world, you got to really think about all these people I've never paid the mortgage by being nice. I've never
No.
It's cutthroat.
I'm very numbers based. I'm very a realist. I've never done someone really well, been super nice, and the mortgage company be like, you know what, Tommy, you were such a nice guy. We're gonna waive your mortgage.
We should talk to this guy about that because he's
Dude.
like the number one proponent of like, well,
And when you're
if I'm just
struggling to pay a
super
bill,
nice-
all those people were nice that you were nice to aren't saying, hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you're struggling. Let me buy you dinner.
Dude.
Fuck no. They're like, what else can I get for free? What else can I get for
this
free?
guy's
Like,
he's the
So
number
I'm
one
the
proponent.
poster child for that, and this is why I hired Curtis and Hannah and all these other people so that I can just go hide and
No,
not
I get
talk
you.
to anybody because I'll give it away.
yeah,
You walk in here and you give me the little, and I'm like, it's free here.
yeah.
Dude, everything right down to these hoodies you see right here. By the way, if you'd like to support Bet Motorsports, we've got on our
up with
website,
these?
you got shirts, hoodies,
They're
koozies.
comfy.
Anyway,
They're comfy.
I talked Dave into buying like the nicest hoodie blanks. What are you gonna say?
If you come down, I'll just give you one.
It's no, stop it! Don't do it because he'll do it. Yeah, I mean,
I bring one home with me every day when I
Yeah.
leave here.
My biggest flaw in all of that is one, I can't imagine anybody wanting to wear my logo on their body.
That's
It doesn't click in my brain. I'm
But
like,
he still gets paid for it.
But you feel almost narcissistic. Like,
Yeah,
if
like,
I want
I
you
don't-
to, then what? How am I? I totally.
right?
That's me.
And then number two is people will look at me and they'll say, "No, David, I'm here to support you.
Yes.
We like
Yes.
you. We want to support you. So I would like to buy that."
Yeah, and there
And
were-
so I have.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
learning. I'm trying. If I
Again.
could be independently wealthy and be like a trust fund baby or something, I would literally run this as just.
Oh,
a free
I say
thing.
that every time. If I had that, like entrepreneur, not an entrepreneur, but what's that they call it? Every time I think of the word, but if you had tons of money, like some of these people give money away. If I was like ridiculously filthy wealthy, I'd give more money away than I'd spend.
Right. We
Like,
would still do what we do because we love it.
Yeah, I would have the biggest race shop. Jade, I don't have shit on my race shop. Anyway, I'd have one right on the beach, and it would be climate control, so no ocean water rust my shit. But like if I were one of those guys, if I see like somebody holding the door open for someone, they didn't have to, whatever. I'd have people with me, like not associates, but like people that go follow me around and be like, that person like had a whole handful of groceries or whatever, and they still held the door open for them. Go ask that person what they're driving. If it isn't brand new, it's not paid off. Tell them to go to any dealership around here.
Dude.
Mr.
It's
Beast.
fucking paid.
I'd love
Right?
to do
Yeah,
that.
like-
We'd be Mr. Beast.
Like there's people that do it and don't brag about it. Like we see super rich people don't give their money away. They do a lot of shit.
You know, what
right?
I would do similar things, but I would also have somebody who would slap shit out of my hands. Like when I go get a donut and they'd slap it out and I go, "You're right, I shouldn't eat
Oh, they
that."
get punched in the mouth slapping that glazed donut.
I would do it though, because if I had that kind of money, I'd be walking around with a box of Krispy Kremes.
Tommy's
all
a
day.
fat kid at heart.
Oh yes.
Not physically, but he's a fat kid at heart.
Well, I think that's probably if we got to have him in here for another one.
Yeah, can I ask you one like wrap up question?
Absolutely.
If you, in your great wisdom and knowledge, now that you have seen everything that there is to
Not
see,
everything, but I'm still learning. Even
I appreciate
still
the
learning.
humility, but
I'm still learning.
you're still light years ahead of the average person as far as Jeep knowledge.
But I
If
still wear
you
diapers.
Had to give like one piece of advice when it comes to selecting say you want to buy a Jeep, okay? And you're going to
Yes.
wheel it, you're going to off-road it, or you're going to daily drive it, I don't know. What is like the one thing that you'd say, don't ever do this, don't buy this, or don't do this? Like, what is the thing that you see
That's a
all the
tough
time that you're like, I see this way too often, stop?
Trying to save money right now.
Yeah.
People racing in and buying bullshit Rough Country or Amazon light bars or this. This is all I had the money for. Just wait.
You get what you pay for.
And this is goes to, and this is me getting long-winded. It's take the ego out of it. Everybody wants to be now because I don't want to be the guy on the small tires at the trail or at the mall or whatever. Like, just freaking wait. Get on the internet and read. Ask
Absolutely.
questions. Never be too humble. Like, I still ask questions because I don't know everything. There's things I 100% are
Jeep Liberty bolt
ignorant about.
pattern.
Isn't that 5 on 4.5 or 5 on 5?
Yeah, there you go.
Nailed it.
5 on 4.5.
Liberty of all things.
I even threw Liberty just to, no.
Yeah.
Got it.
I just know the era.
Yeah.
But don't race in to modifying something with half-ass parts.
Yeah.
Because in the long run, if you say, "Oh, I'm only going to go on fire roads," bullshit.
Yeah.
When your buddies say, "Let's go," you're going to go and you're going to be the broke guy. You're going to be the
Yeah.
broke guy. Like, don't be cheap. If you can't afford it now, we were all poor and broke and barely making by at one time trying to get Jeep parts. We're all in that manner. Like, just wait till you can do it right. Because if you do it right, you won't break. Because the worst thing is having that guy on the trail that jerry rigs something and it
And
breaks.
you're fixing it.
And that guy doesn't. He's
God.
just sitting there watching you as you're like,
Yeah.
dude, it's 11 at night. I want to be out at the campfire talking
Yeah.
shit, hanging out with my boys, not hauling your piece of shit off the trail. Like, just wait till save up a couple paychecks. Just wait and do it. There's a couple things you can go cheap on. You can go get a Smitty built or Harbor Freight winch and not a Warren. Nothing wrong with that. The
Warren's pretty great though.
Warrens are great. I have Warrens on all my stuff, hands down. My car trailers, I'm cheap. I have Harbor Freights, and they've had some pulls on them. I will tell you, I've had a lot of pulls on my car trailer.
Yeah.
But this is don't cut this out. Smitty built, mile marker, Harbor Freight. The only difference in those winches is the 10-year-old that built them. That's the only thing that's different in those winches. Tell my
just
customers
happened.
that. You don't go cheap on tires. You definitely do not go cheap on lighting. Baja Designs, only thing I sell, the only thing I install. I know you guys
Yeah.
are the same
Same-
way.
same with us.
They are the shit. There's two other brands I can think of that are somewhat, but I only do Baja Designs. Don't go shitty Amazon. You cannot go cheap. And suspension. Do not go cheap on suspension. People will go cheap on suspension. My wife won't wheel with me. I hate driving this thing. Well, no shit.
Yeah.
You didn't put dual rate springs on it. Everyone's like, well, how much were your shocks in your Gladiator? $2,800. That's crazy. No, I
it
literally
though?
just drove this thing 80 miles an hour to Utah
Yeah.
like a champ, and I
Yeah.
hit
Yep.
potholes and it didn't jar my teeth. But you go cheap on suspension, you spend every bit of your time in the driver's seat. Make it as comfortable as
Yeah.
possible. Even if you don't wheel it. California has shitty ass roads. Thank
Yep.
you, asshole Newsom. He's a
And shitty gas.
and shitty gas. So like
Yeah.
we have the worst roads. Put good money in your
It's the
suspension.
Baja 405.
Yeah, even if you have to have even if you have to have 31-inch tires and a 4-inch lift for the next 4 months, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Spend money, because if you do it twice, it's more expensive than if you did it right the first time.
What do you
Yep.
always say?
Buy once, cry once.
Yeah.
That's it.
So that was your quick question that I went long with.
No, dude,
No,
that was
that was
actually
perfect.
was
But
the
that's-
perfect answer for that.
but-
Absolutely.
People do that all the time. Well, Tommy, it's so expensive. I'm like, yeah, but it's only expensive one time.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
cheap and then double expensive the next time.
Yeah, no, I know my experience is so much different than yours, but as someone who's spent a decent amount of time at a parts counter working for various applications, whether it's
Yeah,
cars,
yeah.
motorcycles, whatever, I can't even begin to try to explain how often you get the guy that comes in that bought the part off JeffBezos.com that failed him, and
Yes.
he goes, "What the hell?" And then he, because he doesn't ever want to deal with this again, buys the premium option from me, and so now you spent more money than the other guy that just did it right the first time by trying to get a deal, and it happens every single time.
So
Every time.
Yeah.
What you guys, I don't know if you guys do this. but keep shitty parts at the shop to
Yeah.
show people. I always have some stupid ass LED light off, whether it's from Tractor Supply or some Checkers Auto or Pep Boys or whatever, and the lenses go yellow as hell.
Yeah.
And then the
Yeah.
little light spectrum things loosen up. Keep those here at the shop. So you say
Yeah.
that's what you'll buy. I won't even if they bring that to me new in the box,
Not a
install it
chance.
yourself.
Yeah.
Because the minute I install it 6 months down the line, it looks like shit and it's falling apart.
Yep.
You're gonna blame me. It's not me. I wired it up like a champ. You just bought shit parts, and it's not even worth my time. Like,
No. Yeah.
So I'll tell people I will sell stuff. Go out to any of my rigs. I'll sell you all the stuff in there. I will never sell you something. I can't say never because some people, I understand some people's budget. They can't put
Yeah.
this much. So back that up. But I will push parts that are physically at this moment on my Jeep.
Yeah.
I won't push you into something I wouldn't put on my own Jeep.
Yeah.
So it just it's the
I
way it is.
agree.
That's kind of how we
Gotta pay to play.
we sell stuff here that way too. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, why don't you run this? I personally have installed that on 17 Jeeps. I don't like the way it drives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have this on mine, and I have this on mine for a reason.
But I understand what people, and I don't want to sound arrogant and be like, well, he has a 6-figure Jeep, blah blah blah. Well, yeah, but when it kept me 10 years ago, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way I had that.
Yeah.
But there was ways that I saved money or saved up until I had the good stuff, or I made by,
Yeah.
or this or that. And don't be too arrogant to buy like used shit off of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Off
Oh, yeah.
off anybody. Like, you can get some straight
some
up
good deals out there.
steals out there. I mean, I thought I sold the guy. I just sold a set of Machete KMC beadlocks, 5 of them for $1,200.
Yeah.
People are lowballing me. I was like,
Fishing deal.
dude, those things are $600 a piece.
piece.
Like, don't buy that shit used.
Yeah.
Who gives it? And they have no rock rash on them.
Yep.
If you can buy good name brand stuff used, buy it used.
Yeah.
There's no shame in buying used
Yep.
parts. To this day, I'll buy a used part all day long.
Yeah, we got a sick deal on a Bluebird a couple of weeks ago.
It's about the biggest used part I think you could have bought.
Yeah,
Is
but
that
that's for a
what's
whole
that
nother
white
podcast.
thing out there? Do a podcast putting.
We'll talk about that on the next
stripper
one.
Yeah, that's next
Yeah,
episode.
Tommy, thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me, guys.
He has to
Seriously.
drive. It's a 6-hour drive for him to get to us, so it means a lot to us.
Not tonight. I'm going to find the homeless camp. Give me some tweak. I'm going to have a night of my life.
Those make out to beds right
So,
there. You
yeah.
can snooze here.
We appreciate it a lot when you come down and chat with us. It's the best.
I appreciate you guys having me. I really enjoy like just coming
Yeah,
out,
it's
hanging
fun.
out. Even if we don't do this, we just hang out, shoot
Yeah.
the shit in the shop or
Yeah.
whatever. Or But you guys got to get out to more events, man.
I know. We're
Get
gonna
out
do
to
it.
more events.
We got the trailer now. We're gonna load the Jeeps up and
Heck yeah.
start going to these things.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll come out for Tony Tuesdays when my Jeep gets done. I'll bring it out.
Oh,
Or
yeah, I
just,
can't wait to see that.
You guys need to start installing those elite suspensions, those generated elite suspensions, man. I'm telling you.
Oh, we
50
love
mi-
Genrite.
50
Yeah.
miles an hour in a 90-degree turn on a full body VIN-titled vehicle will change your life.
Did we tell him that we like officially
Well,
have
yeah,
a
Yeah,
he's-
he was
he,
part
was,
of it.
he was
Yeah.
crucial in helping us
Thank you.
get
I
in
talked
with
to them up there. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to speak for Tony because his busy schedule, but yeah, we're come out here and show some.
Yeah,
some of
Tony,
that stuff.
thank you very much for
Yeah.
inviting us into your family. It means a lot to us, and we're going to do you proud. So, thank
You
you
got
guys.
the best suspension, man.
Right?
All right,
Yeah.
nice.
peace.
All right, thanks, guys. See ya.